All right, this is part one of a seven-part series on Let's Learn Our Continents Quickly. This is primarily for the Praxis pre-study for folks who are looking at the elementary ed Praxis for social studies. So we're going to go and we're going to do seven quick videos of the countries, and we're going to talk about major geographic issues that come up on the Praxis. So let's hop into South America. All right. So I do use a site. It's called Sporkle, and it gives me good maps and kind of quiz-like games. This one's 5 minutes, and the reason I like a timer on there is it gives me a little sense of that anxiety that you want, because you want to replicate that sense of I have time going. So I'm going to do 5 minutes, and we're going to identify the countries, and then we're going to talk about some of the key geographic features of South America. So let's hop into this. So when we learn a country based on the most important country. When we learn a continent, we learn that continent by the most important countries there. So we're going to start off with what we probably know our main country to be Brazil, the big country here. And you'll see French Guiana over here. French Guiana is a part of France, so it doesn't really count. So after Brazil, what else do we know? Well, we might know Chile, right? Chile, right here. It's along the coast. It is the most unique in that it has a lot of mountain ranges running along here. And we have the Andes Mountains right in here. But there is a lot of different types of agricultural stuff going on in Chile. And then over here we have Argentina. Argentina being famous for a lot of beef cattle industry. All right, this is where we get a little tough. Well, I remember the ways. Paraguay, which is going to be the central country here. And then we have Uruguay. Uruguay. All right, and it comes in over here. These two very rarely, I've never seen them come up on a Praxis sample question or actual question. All right, we've got these two countries here. These two countries are never going to come up, but they are Suriname, right here, and then we have Guinea. Oh, I'm sorry. Belize. Uh-oh, I've forgotten a country. Well, let's hop into what else we know. We've got Venezuela. Venezuela being famous for their oil production. They have the largest oil reserves in the world. Then we have Colombia. Doesn't really, I've never seen it come up on a question in the Praxis, but this key country has Ecuador, more so in the science area where they have the Galapagos Islands. That's where Darwin was. Then we have Bolivia. Bolivia is named after Simón Bolivar. He was a freedom fighter, independence person in South America, and so they named a country after him. Then over here we have Peru, and Peru does come up often on the Praxis. What's most famous in Peru? Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is the deepest part of Peru in the Andes. So we have the Andes right along here. This is the main mountain range in South America. The only other key geographical feature of South America you really have to worry about is the Amazon River, which runs through Brazil. That's the longest river in the world. Key elements of South America are deforestation. You can have some of that because they are doing a lot of slash and burn farming of the forested areas, which is they cut down the area, burn it all down, grow crops, and it contributes to deforestation. All right, what is this country over here? My gosh, I cannot remember. Oh, we're going to give up and see what it is. Guyana. Okay, so it's Guyana. Here's the deal. I've never seen Guyana or Suriname come up, but it's good to know. So if you want to practice the South American countries, know where the big places are. Sporkle is a good resource. Um, the only other things regarding the geography of South America that come up are that it does touch two oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific. It also touches the Caribbean Ocean, and it borders Central America, which is part of North America. Other than that, you shouldn't need to know that much more about South America to be able to conquer this test with ease. Um, there are going to be elements of South America that show up in the history portion, usually in relation to the slave trade. That being, slaves came from Africa, they got sugar cane, made that into rum, that went up to the States, etc., to England, etc. So, I guess a couple important things. Spanish-speaking countries over here, Portuguese-speaking countries over here. Brazil was primarily dominated by Portugal, and these countries over here, these countries are primarily Spanish countries. So that should give you a good sense of South America going into this test.